It's the Bombers of Brighton and Port District in a do-or-die battle if you're a Brighton fan. Coach Brett Backwell's final home game after announcing that he's going to move on at the end of the season, and a couple of other farewells in the Brighton club. We'll get to that very shortly, but before we do that, a check on the Div 1 ladder, and Glenunga are flying away with it, 16 unbeaten, and second Sacred Heart. Those two have locked up the top two spots as we approach the last two rounds of this exciting and thrilling 2024 Adelaide Footy League season, brought to you by Dartfish Sports Interactive, right here on Filming Footy with our scoreboard sponsor Sportal. Mark of the week thanks to Bianco, and goal of the week, of course, thanks to Born to Build. Our snag of the day today, our goal of the day highlight, will win 1 kilo of gourmet snags from Jag Meatworks, so we'll keep an eye out for that. We're at a pretty wet and muddy Brighton Oval. It always gets this way once the rains come in, so we might see a bit of a low-scoring affair. This time, 2 weeks ago, Brighton's last home game, they kicked 17 goals, and they've strung together 2 wins in a row to pull themselves out of the relegation zone. But Port District have a bit to play for themselves. They can't quite get into the top 2, but if they lose their last 2, they could drop as low as 5th, with Payneham and Golden Grove finding some form later on this season. At the bottom of the table, it's Teachery Gully and Broadview in the bottom 2. They play each other today, so a massive 4-pointer there. And then a Brighton win today would all but shore up survival in Div 1 for next season. They come in full of confidence. As I said, Coach Brett Backwell's final home game. They seem to be playing for him in the past couple of weeks. It's Jack Moore alongside Lockie Gould for the call. Good afternoon, Lockie. We're in for a pretty good game, I think.
Yeah, afternoon, mate. Looking forward to this one. This is it. Of course, Brighton, as you said, they win today. They're just about there, aren't they? In terms of survival, they'll be in Div 1 next year, but this is going to be an absolute belter as well. Of course, Port District's playing for their own season and finals hopes.
Spot on. Now, I was down at Port District Reserve, Largs Reserve, I should say, earlier in the season in round 8, when Port led by about 12 points with about a minute or two to go, and I might have ridden them off in the call, and Brett Backwell got stuck into me afterwards for doing so, because they kicked 2 goals in the space of about 45 seconds to come back and draw that one. And that one draw, that one premiership point, is what sees them sitting above 8th, above 9th, with 11 premiership points. So it all goes to show that early season results, even a draw, can have a massive impact on the latter half, I should say, of the season. That day, though, for Port District, Cockatoo Collins kicked 4. He is not in this team for Port, being called up by the Port Magpies. But Wellesby kicked 4 for Brighton. He's also missing with a hamstring injury. So we're not sure how we're going to go. But with a win, as I said, Brighton can jump up to 6th. A loss, they could fall all the way down to 9th. And Port District up to 3rd, or consolidate 3rd. With a loss, they could drop to 4th. So looks like we're all in readiness. Any expectations ahead of this one, Lockie?
I've always backed the home team, so I'm going Brighton in an upset.
Interesting call. They're the team in form, as are Port, and for the first bounce, here's Lockie Gould.
Here we go. The Rucks are away, and we are ready to go on a Saturday afternoon here in Brighton. Free kick. Hang on, umpire blew the whistle, but no one heard it. But it is going to be a free kick. And he's going to go the way of Miller Carter.
This comes back in the middle, going the way of Port. Spot on.
Port District then. Oh, that's not one of his better kicks there, Miller Carter. They might be okay still. Here is Haynes. He goes up the line and finds Lysette. Lysette, then the drilling kick inside forward 50. And he's found his man there. Brilliant work in the end. And it is Sam Gray there.
Yeah, that old Port Adelaide Power connection. They played, I think, a handful of games together in the Power AFL side. And he's got Lysette back on in the middle, slack marking from Brighton.
Yeah, it was. Lysette's going to go back and take a set shot at goal. Spoke to him a couple of weeks ago for my podcast. It was excellent to have that kind of access from Port Districts, and he's a brilliant footballer.
Yeah, we had a chat earlier in the season. He had a few off-season surgeries, and it's always a good sign to see a big man riddled by injuries at the AFL level. No tape on him, free to roam around, and he's just peaking in time for finals.
Oh, a dangerous Scott Lysette is a good Scott Lysette. He'd love to start this one with a goal here. Whistles from the balcony. Scott Lysette kicks on its way. It's there. And they get around Big Scott because he's got the first of the day. Port Districts, they hit away first. They're 1 straight 6. Brighton yet to score.
Yeah, what a recruit. That score on the Sporter and Hahn Ultra Zero Carb. How good scoreboard. Get yourself a couple of Hahn Zero Carbs.
Looking forward to getting home.
Responsibly, of course, thanks to our major sponsor, Dartfish, filming footy. As you said, the rain has kind of drifted away over Brighton Oval. It's still left its mark, though. Pretty wet and sodden out there. The forward pockets to either end, a few puddles. Players might get lost in there, and the umpire just finds it hard to tread into the middle. Lysette started pretty well. They've got Dixon in the ruck for Brighton. Sam Gray, a man possessed early, had a couple of key touches. Just overcooks that a tad, chasing after it. Boundary line might be the winner. Maybe next time, because Mackay, he butted up, and the kick came from Evans. It's going to come straight back Evans' way. There's a pack forming now. And just a hold to the front of that, and here's Kenneth Carpeting in the long sleeves. Played 6 games and 6 goals. 72 league games for West Adelaide, so a very experienced conveyor. Here's Haynes, always uses it pretty nicely. And great body work down there by Lloyd.
Brighton to bring it back in. A frantic start. Haynes was there, he had to wait underneath it, and he got the contact, and it was a high contact to the former South Adelaide player. He's going to get himself the football.
Play in front should always be
rewarded.
Protected, correct.
So in goes Haynes, and that ball's going to go out in front of Carpeny. He can't keep it in.
Yeah, he's roaming the ground early. This Carpeny's 25th game for Port from the Riverland, played for Berry, Lirrup and Barmer and Monash before carving out that West Adelaide league career. He's always dangerous, just hovering around the side of this pack.
He was brilliant last week as well up at Payneham. Ball comes back in. It's time tapped down. Batty tries to work his way through. He's not able to, though. In the end, had to fire out a hand pass. Ball on its way. Kick on goal. Looks pretty good. They've got 2 there. And what a kick from Gold. There it is. 2 straight. 12. Brighton yet to score. Danger signs early.
Yeah, Port have come here switched on. They're a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde outfit, aren't they, Port? They're well adrift of the top 2, having won 9, lost 6, but some of their losses have been pretty questionable this season. They've lost to Spock by 7 points, and they've also lost to Golden Grove twice, but all the other losses have been to Glenunga and Payneham in that draw, of course, against Brighton. So they usually beat who they're supposed to. If this man's got anything to say with it, they'll definitely get the chocolates now. Gray inside 50G. Another one might be handy early. It comes straight back to him. Here's Batty. Let him off the leash early. You'll pay for it. Oh, the duck step. And the dodge. Had the dirty dancing shoes on. That might have been 3 in a row early. We've only played 4.5, almost 5 minutes. And Port District, the Bulls lived in their forward half. 2-1-13. Brighton, notoriously slow starters. Warner sits under it. Coming in late was the German Dienhoff. Oh, outside of the boot, little Bunana. Needed a punch from Loy. He came at it. Goes and gets it back, and the pressure relieved, but only for a millisecond as Venning is taken to ground. So 5 metres out from the Port goal, looking for a third to their tally. Only 5.5 gone. Strong ruck contest. Lysette just isn't down there for this one. Just lets the forwards and the backs go to work, and Tarka is ridden by Sammy Mackay. Secondary ball up.
Yeah, another one that was good last week in the win up at Payneham. Ball goes up, bouncing. There is Mackay trying to work his way through. Carpeny's on the bottom of that pack as well.
I tell you what, great feeling for Benjamin Gould. He's one of the 2 ins for Port this week, with Louis Sharrod back in the team, Rose and Heffernan the outs.
And big out is Heffernan, as is Rose as well. I miss those guys. Carpeny doing what he does best, burrowing in and under.
And on the
ball up.
Brighton side of things, they welcome Shane Harvey back after a long injury battle, and Jordan Bastion, but one of their best all season, Lachlan Johncock, not out there today, along with Jed Farquhar, who's done some pretty good work in the ruck. And 3rd or 4th ball up. Keep your eye on the umpire here. He might pull a free kick out to clear this out.
Ball goes back. Mackay Taps it down, only as far as his Brighton opponent though. Ball spills out the side. Umpire has found that free kick you were talking of.
Yeah, the whistle malfunction there. Lost the P for a sec.
And it's going to go the way it looks like. It's going to go the way of Port District. And it's going to be in the hands of Hunter Carter.
So the Carters have done well this season for Port. Only 2 of them out there with Hunter and Miller, both Port juniors, and both played some 18s footy for the Eagles too.
Hunter Carter, kick, shaping back quite nicely. Oh, there's the fist pump. He loved that. So they are away, 3-1-19. Brighton, well, they've been grounded so far, have the Bombers, and they are 0-0-0.
Hasn't been, I can't remember a possession really inside forward 50. It was a couple inside the Brighton forward half that Port had, but in terms of being in the Bombers' hands, they're yet to fill the jet up and yet to leave the runway. 7.5 gone. Jack Moore and Lockie Gould, a pretty overcast day, but the rain seems to have gone away. As Lai said, oh, that's just experience in a bit of a nutshell. Soccer off the ground, Carter comes up for it. He's full of energy after that goal, diving in after it. He's been pretty impressive, Lockie Sheffield. Only played the 7 games this season.
Yeah, he's a good player, does some nice things.
Made his senior debut in round 9, chasing after it. That was Sammy Gray. Geez, had a couple of cans of energy drink. I won't mention the brand names because we are sponsored by the Hahn Ultra Zero Carb, of course. Maybe he's had a couple of those, not sure.
Odd way to get energy, but maybe it works.
Bit of caffeine in there, maybe. Just had a couple of black coffees as the umpire stretches the arm muscles out. Like I said, it's dominating in the early stages. Brighton really missing Farquhar. There's Gray. What is 6 touch, I reckon, in the space of 8.5 minutes. Firm punch, but it comes the way of Gaffney, who hands it off. Dangerous here, need a mark. They spoiled each other. Seagal flew. Batty read the crumb. And Port District are almost out of sight within 9 minutes. 4 early goals. No communication. And James Batty, the goal machine, his 32nd on the season. He's kicked 170 plus goals in the past 4 seasons. The Henley Junior and Port District are off to a flyer. Sportal scoreboard, thanks to Hahn Zero Carb, 4-1-25. Brighton, well, they're still in the blocks.
Yeah, that's concerning for Brighton. They're not playing for safety so much. Even if they do lose and results go the way we think they should, they will probably still be in the box seat to survive. But, geez, they'd love to wrap it up today, wouldn't they?
It's a funny one, isn't it? Because Broadview or Gully's one of those teams must win, and St. Peter's are playing Glenunga, so you'd expect them to lose that one. So, yeah, for Brighton, it's going to be very, very, very close in the bottom 4.
There it is. So, 4 will become 2 in terms of who goes down. Bang! Driven into the dirt. Lang, it was a tackle.
Few after. I think a yellow card might come out. It is. And there was an after effect there as well. One of them went in to separate and threw a bit of a closed fist. I'm not sure what the umpires see, but we'll soon find out. There's a fair bit of blood streaming down the face of Dylan Lang, who's been in this team and is known to be a bit of a tagger. I had their game against Payne, he kept none, pretty quiet, and he's been hit here, so he's coming off the ground with the blood roll. And with the yellow card, of course, the player can be replaced, but the player given the yellow card must be off the ground for 10 minutes.
There we go. So, red card, obviously that's different. A red card given players off and no one can replace them.
Red card, no one can replace them for 10 minutes, and that player can't return.
There you go. Well, meantime, we'll restart with District, as you'd expect. Do you think that probably should have been a red card?
From what I saw I'm not sure the umpire saw the after effect, just the first one. If he did, it looked like he made pretty high contact and the blood coming from the temple region. You think he did, but...
Meantime, Harvey's there. He might just be able to trap it. He's not able to, though. Ball spills past him and into the oncoming traffic. Ball might work its way out. There's Craig. He's unable to. And then the ball dropped inside forward 50 from Gaffney. The handball came out. Trapped there is Gould. And over the boundary line it goes. Excellent tackle.
Yeah, I was just going to mention with the card situation as an ex-umpire, we were always instructed, unless it's blatant, obvious and super dangerous, to issue a yellow first. Don't spoil the game too early on unless it's definitely warranted. So I think pretty cool umpiring from Paul Smitheram, who is one of Div 1's finest umpires.
There we go. Excellent to have your insights there, Jack, as well, as the ball goes inside forward 50. Collected almost in the end then by Warner. Ball's just going to bounce here, going to the near side wing. Arriving late was Haynes. He had to kind of stand and stop for the charging pack. And umpire said it's going to be a ball up.
Ferns, big tackle from him. His 16th game. Played footy for season down in Div 3. So he knows about the rough and tumble in Div 1. Usually get a bit of a clearer, more open game, but the conditions, and slides over on his knees like he's just scored a goal in the Premier League. Was Dwyer across the boundary throw-in.
That's that return last night. Do you watch a lot of the Premier League?
Yeah, try to catch the highlights, but when daylight saving kicks in, it's always better, isn't it?
It certainly is.
The early game on a Saturday night. We might see a few semantics of the soccer ball and a few goalkeepers back on the line, I dare say, and I dare say we're going to see a few ball ups, so the ruckmen are going to definitely earn their money today. Yeah,
contestant footy is the order of the day. All tapped down, and no one really able to bring that one out. They might have been a little bit of a dead heat. Umpire says we're going to have a ball up.
You can really see Lysett getting on top. Timmy Dixon, not a renowned ruckman, more of a second or third kind of pinch hitter. So a big advantage for Port there.
Lysett that time did win it out. It ended up in the hands of Ferns, and then across to Gould, and then Gaffney, and now they are away with Haynes. Ball just bouncing, and well, going to be collected in the end. Deinhoff towards Gould. Might have to go back to Deinhoff. Pressure from Brighton is pretty good. Haynes all the way back towards Gaffney. Backwards to go forwards. Gaffney says enough of this. Inside forward 50. Shopped off.
Yeah, it was cool touch. So Jarman Seagal, good instincts just to get it on the boot and get it out of there. But wow, it's coming right back like watching Wallabies and the Springboks. The pressure's relayed. Oh, that kick had to hit. It's a nice one though at 45s. Dwyer. Now Carpeney just chisels off one that Warner couldn't get to. It was that well measured. Hunter Carter has himself an early goal. Just bit a bit too much there, finding Ty Murphy. Played some footy at the Bays and in the reserves. Finlay Bennett, he thought he earned the free kick. Needed a bit of a stronger hand there, the Hawthorn Junior from the Yarra Footy League. With the headbands, readjusts. That's just the umpire. Dries it off and he's going to chuck it in. Loy with the reserve ruck duties here for Brighton. Works his way to the front beautifully. There is Bennett. He gets that kick he thought he should have had about 30 seconds ago. But it went absolutely nowhere. Commentary side spinning around in a strong tackle. And coming out of it at the end and throwing it out, Dwyer. Can Brighton get something started? They rev the chainsaw up as they push it towards about 70. He went through him, but he also went through the Sherrin with a beautiful golden fist. Haynes, he always makes it look classy, even when he panics. On a long lead up the ground, here's Hawkins, but he couldn't get there. Evans fisted it away. Outer side, boundary throw in. No real advantage to either team. We've played 15 minutes and Port, 4 goals, 1-25. Brighton, no score. Sporter and Hahn Ultra Carb scoreboard.
Yes, it is. Well, I was just going to say, I think Brighton have done well. They've kind of stemmed the bleeding a little bit here. Port District's so good in the opening sort of 8-9 minutes. The ball's punched and Brighton now will get the clearance inside forward 50. Good mark taken at the back there. Greg doing the job. That time it's Doug. Cross towards Haynes. Haynes finds Gray. Then the handball across. Dwyer. Tackle. Ball turned over. Here comes Warner back the other way though for Brighton.
That was great moments ago from Greg down back and excellent umpiring. Sheffield had it. This is free kick and the Port District player looks like Hawkins there. Just didn't let him get up. So pretty regulation 25. Can they get a possession inside 50? Not quite, or maybe they do. Marcus said about 49.6, I reckon. And here's Warner, who's got a big boot. Just depends how wet and soggy that football is early.
Yeah, he does have a massive leg on him. This has got some feeling in it, I think, this one. So it's good to see everyone caring at times. It has gone a little bit over the top, but it's nice to see everyone still believes.
Plenty on the line for Brighton. Survival can be assured today as Warner gives that to perfect bend. Just not enough distance for it to come all the way back. But their first score at the 16.5-minute mark, and Lockie, you called it, since the early 4 goals in the 2nd, 4th, 7th and 9th minute, Brighton have just got a bit more defensive, dropped a loose back, and they're just plugging the holes. Can they hit the scoreboard in a meaningful way? We'll find out.
We will. One of the runners has just gone over. That's not what you want to see. Slipped. And it's pretty wet and wild out there, and it's taken out not only the players but everybody else as well. Meantime, everyone just trying to drive the footy forward. Ended up in a free kick going the way of Brighton. It is going to end up in the hands of Perry.
He's pretty reliable, played 29 league games for South and 265 for Langhorne Creek. Kicked 120 goals in his Langhorne Creek career, but only 3 this season. Tough ask from here in the wet.
Kick on its way. It's going to shave across. It's going to need some help there, and it is, in the end, fisted over. So Port District's happy to concede the behind. Brighton, they are 0-2. It is, however, a 4-goal lead to Port District's 4-1.
Here's Gaffney. This is Jack. Measures that kick beautifully to Ferns, as we see Lang ready to rejoin after his yellow card. He's got a minute and a half on that 10-minute sin bin left. Oh, that had to hit in the middle of 3 bombers. And he picked him out in the tarmac beautifully. Nice spoil, Seagal. He can't do it all though. As Miller Carter bounded inside 50. Bounce worked for Loy initially. And then a bit of a professional slip, I reckon, down there to take it out. Deep, deep, deep inside their back half.
Almost a professional foul kind of situation there as he took it over.
Knew that if he kept it in, he would be under immediate pressure.
Yeah, he would have been. I'm interested to see how Dylan Lang is received when he enters the field of play again. He's, as you said, about a minute now left on that as Lysette wins the tap down. He did so good that he even ended up with the clearance. The kick was a little bit higher than what he was expecting. Ball through the hands of Deinhoff. Slap forward in the end from Bennett. Collected as Port Districts and Gould go again. No. 4-2, plays 2 behinds at margin and even 4 goals. 24 points gone. 19 minutes on the Sportal and Hahn scoreboard.
Second goal of the day for Gould, but on that occasion only silver. So 4 goals, 2 as you called. An even 4-goal game. Here's Timmy Dixon. You can identify him with the socks up, and he's always pretty aggressive. Looks like he'll take the ruck being at this contest. Wonder if Lysette will jog in. No, Lysette stays forward. So Sammy Mackay with the relief ruck roll. Deinhoff, Lysette. Oh, he almost didn't know it came his way until it bounced off that tough chest of his. And for a former AFL player, kick from 40 out, slide angle, shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Yeah, he's a massive guy. I mean, even standing next to him a little bit, it's pretty daunting. Certainly a lot of hard work on the neck to keep looking up.
The 2018 AFL Premiership player with the West Coast Eagles. I'm sure he sends Dom Sheed a box of chocolates every year to thank him for that. He'll kick from about 42, 43. Oh, that is measured. He brought the measuring tape out and just gave it enough on the kick. Kick through the footy. 5 first quarter goals. He kicked it all off with the 2nd minute major, and he might have put the full stop on this quarter, but we've only just ticked into time on, so there could be more on the way. 5-2, 32, 2 behinds, and even 5 goals in the Sportal and Hahn Ultra Zero Carb scoreboard. And Lockyer, I reckon Brett Backwell would be wishing timeouts existed right about now.
Yeah, you might need one. Brighton, well, Port District certainly proving they are a good team, a dangerous premiership threat. Well, meantime, Brighton have got other ideas as they just waltz it out of the centre. Ball then down the line, no one able to really control it. Ball paddled out to the advantage of Davidson and now across towards Haynes. Then up and mark taken in the end by Miller Carter.
Yeah, the Bombers just seem to be a step behind their opponent in every single contest.
It's the little 1% things that start to stack up which really make life difficult as the ball goes over and out.
Looks like we're definitely seeing the Mr. Hyde version of District. They can be poor at times, but they've come switched on. They can change within a game though, still plenty of time in this one.
You certainly can. I remember being down Lives Bay for Anzac Day, and they were very poor that day against admittedly very good Glenunga side. But meantime, McKay trying to keep the positive spin going here. Slapped back behind Siney. Then Batty picked it up. Then the smother off Deinhoff. Lysets there. Had to give it back. Siney! There it is! And it is a 6th goal on the board. 6-2 plays 2 behinds. That's on the Sportal and Hahn scoreboard, Jack.
Yeah, he's earned his way into the seniors, Ollie Siney. Only his 5th game of the season, but the other 11 games he's played in the Rezzies, he's kicked 29 goals. So you put the work on the board, and even a team as high up as Port, you catch the eye of Josh Ramsey, and you deserve your spot. 35 reserves games for the Woodville West Torrens Eagles too. So he's been made to work to get into this side, and he takes his full advantage there. Dixon, a rare win against Scotty Lysette. Inside 50, but Brighton just can't get it past that man. Haynes, he's always first to it. Just weaves a web of silk off the hand or off the boot. Here's Gould, he's already got a goal to his name. And finally, some defensive pressure. You've got to say they've been pretty good in the spoil category, but just holding the tide back at this stage.
Yeah, they are. They're almost hanging in there. 6 goals. So when you haven't kicked one in, getting close to quarter time now, it's concerning for Brighton. You would have thought they would have come out here with a little bit more fight, but maybe it's a lack of polish that their problem is.
Well, they've had a couple of wins in a row just to get themselves up the Div 1 ladder. So it's not losing you're out.
Yeah, it's certainly not doom and gloom like it is for a couple of others this weekend. So
it's a big game next week for Brighton as they finish their season against Broadview. That could definitely be a win and you're in, lose and you're in Div 2. We'll find out in 3.5 quarters. Harvey, a welcome addition to this Bombers lineup. Cheeseman Dutton, the hyphen all the way, and that every kick's a bit short at the moment, but a goal before quarter time. Oh, he tried to bounce it in 6 foot deep mud, and that's never going to come back. Lockie Sheffield been a great inclusion, but that was a brain fade. So Port District 24 gone, they're up by 36, and Haynes is just so solid.
Haynes mentioned over 200 games at South Adelaide in the Sandful, and a classy operator. He's about to come back into play directly in front of your commentary position on Filming Footy. It's fantastic to have your company here, Lockie Gould, Jack Moore, doing what is a fantastic game of football. Ball comes back in. Tap down. And Carter holds his direct opponent, and we're going to have a ball up again.
Yeah, Haynes has been the best a few times this season. The Waikerie Junior, so wherever you may be watching on Filming Footy, good afternoon to you, Lysette. Oh, he thought he could take it with the one juke, and he almost did. Borderline kicking in danger down there. Had the head over the footy, the Brighton player. And now the umpire's found one. A bit of a make-up call, you probably suggest. This is Finn Bennett as we tick down. A couple of minutes left in this opening term. A few puddles, they're going to be a bit nasty as the day rolls on, and we'll call that a mini fist, bit of a knuckle buster out the back. Sam McKay, who assume his secondary ruck duties, and not a good sign for Brighton. Their ruckman of the day so far. Dixon's limping, so we've seen Book play that role a few times this season. That have really hurt them with, of course, Jed Farquhar, their first choice ruck out of the side. Here's Sheffield, he's ridden down and escorted by Haynes, and Carpenter's locked in a tackle. The ball was in the grasp of the tackler. Umpire would do it again. That was Cheeseman Dutton. Watch for Warner at the back of this contest. He's marked by Hunter Carter. Mackay falls over, and a nice aggressive but fair tackle from Kenneth Carpenter. We'll keep you up to date with the other big game, Broadview and Tea Tree Gully. Some score updates after quarter time, half time. Cheeseman Dudden lucky not to give away a free. Murphy, Dixon. Oh, he thought someone was behind him, Haynes. The other Haynes came through, but the ball was out the back. Can they get a late goal? Rivers thinks he kicks it to where he'd like to be, in all fairness, and fisted out of bounds. So we tick under a minute and a half. Port District 6-goal to zip opening quarter as the boundary umpire jogs around. He'll throw it in, 40 out. Can Brighton pinch a late one?
Ball about to come back into play. Zip Brighton to try and restore some pride. They've had a rough first quarter of footy, been taken away by a much better team. Ball snapped out of there. That's not going to work in the end from Bennett.
Yeah, it's all aimless stuff at the moment from the Bombers, which is surprising. It does look like they've got an extra around the contest. Port, that's because Brighton and Brett Backwell have kind of pushed a spare back. It's Cheeseman Dudden, and it looks like it might be Evans just rotating as that spare.
Yeah, it's frustrating to watch a little bit for the Bombers at the minute. Ball cleared meantime by Haynes. Then grabbed. They're going to run inside forward 50 now. The Bombers, can they get a fly? They did, but all three took each other out. Dwyer, he flicked it back for Port District. And the ball goes over and out.
They got a fly, they all flew at once. Clear the airspace, check the radar, boys. But there was that man loose, as just called. He can pump it back in there, but it means Port are always going to have that one spare around the footy.
They certainly do at the minute. It'll be interesting to see if any adjustments are made at quarter time. There's Carpenter, and he came in and took a fantastic grab, but it might have been over the boundary line.
Might be a throw-in, I think, so the umpires judged it was juggled over. Oh, we'll see. No, mark paid. Oh, the umpires are going to come together here to consult, just to make sure they get the right decision. So time off, and it's a reminder of that score, 6-2-38, 2 behinds. A dominant opening term here at Brighton Oval from the travelling team.
They've been good. They've come down via the Southern Expressway or Henley Beach Road, probably more likely, and they are absolutely flying at the minute. Oh, what a grab! That was absolutely terrific. Up and over the top, that is what we're talking about. As the kick wasn't quite what he had in mind.
It's become a bit boring now from Jarman Segal. He does it every week.
I was going to say, what a fly. Segal up and over the top.
Just go to Bianco and get yourself a ladder. Well, Jarman didn't need to. He might be in the running for our Bianco mark of the week. Can't be heaps of time left in this opening quarter. You'd think Brett Backwell would be pretty desperate to address the troops. Numbers equalised behind the footy. Brighton still look to have one spare just back in this contest. Just trying to stem the bleeding. Dominant opening term. It's going to get close to a 30-minute opening term as well. Here's Harvey, just working his way back into his Brighton season. Courageous mark on the cusp of their D50. And there's our siren. So Port District looking to lock away third position. And that'll secure themselves more of a chance come finals. They started like a house on fire. Brighton, well, it's like the team forgot to fill the jets up. They're still on the tarmac at quarter time. Port District 6-2-38. Brighton 2 behinds. A dominant term from Port. Lockie.
Yes, certainly was. Interested to see what response we get from the Bombers. But I'm sure they'll get around each other, and I'm sure they'll get maybe a bit of a spray. Depends what the coach wants to do.
It's funny, in this game in round 8, Brighton 4-1 in the first quarter, led by 22 at half time, and then Port came 7-2 in the third quarter. So they can flip the script, and who knows, they could still win this game. 3 quarters, it's plenty of time, and the experience and the wise head of Brett Backwell will be sure to change a few things up. But for Josh Ramsey, business as usual in the next quarter. But we have seen Port be a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde team this year as well. As I mentioned, pre-game for Brighton, they're missing Ricky O'Loughlin, John Cock and Jed Farquhar. It did seem like their reserve ruck who they're employing in that position, it was, of course, who was their ruckman? Timmy Dixon, of course, just hobble. So we'll keep an eye on that. But at quarter time here on Filming Footy on Saturday afternoon, Adelaide Footy League, It's District up by 36 points. Second quarter's coming right up. What a start from Port. They've come probably the largest road trip for them in Div 1, all the way down to the bay here at Brighton. And Brighton with some key outs. No Wellesby, no Carthy, their captain, no O'Loughlin Johncock, and it's going as the script suggested. 6-2-38, Sporto and Hahn, Ultra Zero Carb scoreboard. Brighton, 2 behinds.
Ball out of the middle from Gaffney. Ball just kind of sits, as you'd imagine, in this kind of condition. Flicks its way out and now towards Dixon. There's a good tackle there. Nash was able to catch Warner napping. What can Connor Nash do from the top of the 50? Decides to drill it towards the hot spot. Everyone flies at the back, waiting. Siney, Lysette, no Siney. It's a behind.
Goal umpire made us wait, didn't he? Just whenever it gets over the back, they're just so... they're mosquito fleet, they're fast, they're quick, and they just read the ball a lot better than Brighton so far.
Even their big men aren't particularly slow. Like, you know, you kind of think they might be, but it's good. They're quick.
We saw Lysett there almost outrun one of the quick, speedy half-backs for the Bombers. That kick's going to be, hit its mark, just. Sheffield won a free kick. If not, I'll tell you what, Port, the gates were back at race 3 at Morphettville there. That's a short, chiseled kick. I'm not sure you want to be doing that in these conditions. Harvey. There's Lang all taped up, heading back into the furnace. He goes in for seconds. He's a hungry man after being yellow carded in the first. Head over the footy, clear free kick, you would have thought. Umpire says no. And he's holding his head there, Jack Chalmers. We'll come back to that. Footy goes on, here's Gray towards the forward 60. Gee, the umpire missed one there, but we'll play on. Nash Haynes, ground level, claim by Warner. Did he dive on it? Umpire says no.
A massive amount of credit as well to Joseph Haynes, who came over the top of the big spoil to start that. So it was brilliant work from him. There he is again, waiting down at the feet of the ruckman.
Just got Chalmers off now. He's still holding his head, so we'll keep you posted on that.
Warner, ball back in front as Brighton try and work their way forward. There's it. Free kick though, and it's going to go a high tackle. That works its way out from Venning. Venning then loads up. Oh, he's found Dixon just standing by himself.
Yeah, he's the ultimate swingman, is Tim Dixon. You'll find him in the ruck, you'll find him at half back, you'll find him inside forward 50. Just the close from Gray was a millisecond late. Got him high after the mark, 25 metres.
Oh, interception, well done coming across then. Fantastic grab from Cooper Gaffney.
That'll open it up.
Certainly will, although Brother Jack wasn't particularly excited to go. So decided against that. Tried to get a third involved. And Cooper and Jack are yelling at each other here because the ball's going to come back the other way. Dixon again, he was involved. Gaffney's after it. That might be in the back. And it is in the back, so it's going to go the way of William Rivers. Yeah, Rivers got the tablespoon out and just put a dollop of mayonnaise on that one, but it was always there. The push was pretty clear for the umpire to see. With a wet, soggy footy, he'll kick from about 55. Usually he's a massive kick, but he might put this one at the top of the square. Drilling ball inside. It wasn't able to be marked. Oh, big fist there. It's out the side of the pack. Keeping was strong back there. Said in the first quarter we might see a few goalkeepers back because the cluster of numbers around the footy on a wet, kind of soggy day, you want someone back on the line because those kicks are going to fall 5 or 10 metres short. And there we go. There we go, Jack. Predictions, man. Knew exactly what was going on. The centre might work its way out here. Carpeny. He turns and loads up. There is the ultimate swingman. Timmy D, socks up, means business. Higgins from a Blackwood player. Played a couple of seasons up there in the hills. Smashed forward by CG. Cooper Gaffney. It's in the hands of Murphy. In the end, takes the third of 2 options. He could have brought it back inside or a quick handball to Lang on the run. Turns it over to Nashy Haynes. Here's Miller Carter. Brighton a bit more solid in the first 4.5 minutes. Playing man-on-man footy. Just trying to win their individual contests. Now, ball given across. Dinoff then driven inside forward 50 and at the back, fantastic grab. Brighton able to take the relieving mark. Ball up the line. Invider says get back. Forward a little bit for Dickinson. He's able to grab it on half back as he waits and watches. Nothing really happening ahead of him at the minute. So a chess match here. Port have dropped Joseph Haynes as a loose and it's trying to go around him here. He's about 5 metres inboard of his kick. There we are. So that's the idea. I'm not sure whether or not it's going to work out though because the footy's loose at the minute. Does get fired back to the back of the pack and then snapped inside forward 50. Fighting hard here. Did well to turn. Did Tarka. Ball inside forward 50 coming now as the big fist at the front. Tarka's there again. Tarka's snap and goal! No, across the face. And another blank fired there. 4 behinds now. 6-3. Those 4 behinds on the Harden Sporter scoreboard. 5.5, second quarter. That Broadview and Gully's match. Very important. Teacher Gully up by 15 at quarter time.
You can check in on that with all Div 1 games on Filming Footy right now. Click the live tab on the Filming Footy YouTube page. Short play out of the back line for Port. Strong start, but Brighton arguably the best of this second term so far. Nothing to show for it. Higgins, he got it from Perry, and little grubber kick from Evans. It might work out well. Here's little magician in Tarka. He gets his wand out and just bites off a nice little chiseled effort to Jackie Francis. He's good for a goal a game, 12 in his 10, the Goody Saints Junior. And his last club was Westminster in Div 4.
Let's see what he can do here. What a kick as well from Tarka to just find him standing there all by himself there. In comes Francis.
Just takes the ball in your hands to get a little bit of confidence in the game, but it's a pretty winless day down here at Brighton. Those kicks have just been hooked out to the right. One on the run from Tarka and that one from Francis. They're fifth behind now. They still trail. 6-3-39, 5 behinds as Nash Haynes brings it out of half back for Port.
Yeah, 34-point margin. They're certainly not making life easier for themselves by missing crucial set shots. Big pack forming here. Oh, he's done it again. Wasn't quite as good as the one in the first quarter, but Siegel is on fire.
That's a chess mark for Jarman.
Very inside forward 50. Well, he started high, kind of took the ball down low in the end.
I tell you what, this quarter, Brighton are playing in front of their man. Something very simple, but it's paying dividends. But, of course, they need to put the score on the scoreboard. Otherwise, it's all for nothing.
They certainly do. Player at the top of the 50 here, just taking his time to make some assessment and some options. Decides he's going to load up in the end. Rivers. Ball drops short in the end of the goals in which he was attempting to kick towards. Ball's going to work its way out for Batty. Batty. Then he's got some help from Gaffney. Gaffney's trapped against the boundary line. Might be able to step through now, just rolled forward. Off the foot in the end of the player coming hard the other way for Brighton. Harvey. No one able to really, that might have been hanging on, and it was hanging on. Although the fans are not happy here. Carter, meantime, out the back they are now.
This had hurt. Looked like a pretty clear free kick on Harvey, and then Harvey followed through in a bit of frustration, and the umpire blew the whistle for that. Probably could have let both go in the end. Here's Mackay though, he's just contemplating going for goal, but it's 55 out. It's going to take an absolute rocket off the boot. I tell you what, there's your rocket! Oh, bang! Sammy Mackay from about 55 just sticks the dagger in. It's been all Brighton in this quarter. Couple of shots on goal, and he just says, nah, we're here for the points. Sporto and Hahn, 0 carb scoreboard, 7-3-45, 5 behinds. It's a 40-point margin. Wow.
He was so far out, he nearly kicked that from the commentary position. Excellent shot there on the camera, and what a kick.
14th goal in his 15th game. Played some junior footy at North Haven and reserves footy at the Eagles, so he knows how to get it done. And Port District just sweep one end to the other, that momentum killer goal. That's exactly it right there.
So can Brighton find a way to fight back? Lysette, Gray this time. Ball just driven along the ground. Tapped away, well done in the end from Evans. And the ball goes over the top of the boundary line. So 9 minutes in here, Sportal and Hahn scoreboard. That is a margin of 40 points. People enjoying themselves downstairs.
Very nice day for it. Hopefully the wind and rain holds off. That wind is just circling towards the left of screen, more coming towards this side of the ground too.
There we go. There's a weather report. Meantime, Dickinson, he gave the hand pass off. And then Gaffney was there standing at the top of the 50. Great tackle in the end to take Gray to ground. And the umpire says that we're going to have it thrown back in. The ball did cross the boundary line.
Umpires out there, Dennis Sester and Paul Smitheram. Mentioned his name in the first quarter. Two of Div 1's finest men in green. Almost time for finals too, of course, not just the teams. The umpires have to be on their best. Of observers watching their performances. That's a nice tackle. It was good in the beginning. Umpire, no, deems it well. Head didn't hit the ground. Scotty Nerlich, the captain today in place of Otis Carthy. Good umpiring, just gets up and on with it. See, a Brighton player was held there, might have been Lang again. Doesn't matter, and 25 metres for the extra push. Scotty Lycett just seeing if he can get away with it, but the umpire right on the ball. This one should go inside 50. What have Brighton got now? They need to go on the board. It's been their quarter, really. Oh, unmarked at the back. Straight in and just says, slow it down as Ferns hands it off, and Joey Haynes booms it towards the outer wing.
There we are, Deinhoff. He's going to lead the race, although the boundary line actually ends up winning out. So it's going to come back in here off the boot of a Brighton player.
An action replay, back to where it all started.
Yep, back from where it came indeed, Jack. As now they wait, and in the end, the long ball for the pack. That's what they're hoping for. Couple contest that one. The target in the end was Sheffield. The ball goes out and we're going to have a boundary throw in.
The captain for Port, Sean Davidson, big role there on Will Rivers at full forward, so he's going to be giving him no space, no leg rope. It's going to be left up to a Jakey Tarka to perhaps create something. See Chalmers around the left and right hand side of this ball.
Took an absolute screamer a couple of weeks back, did Tarka.
Free in the ruck. You can see Timmy Dixon not a number one ruck usually, just almost cheating a bit, trying to play a battle of strength, and Lycett is just so professional.
Pull back towards Gaffney. Gaffney then inside. And he's found a leading forward. Fantastic work there in the end for Gray. Oh, he's put the footy down, so he's going to go through his set shot routine. Of course, as we've already mentioned in the broadcast, former Port Adelaide Magpie, former Port Adelaide footballer as well within the AFL squad. 96
games and 83 goals. Bit of a goal sneak. This might be a tad beyond his distance, but the wind will help.
What can Sammy Gray do? Kick looks pretty good. I think it's just across the face. So he's missed there. Let off a little bit there, 7-4, 46 plays, 0-5. That's on the Hahn and Sportle scoreboard. It's a 41-point ball game in favour of Port District.
Yeah, Brighton off the hook, Sammy Gray. Ended his AFL career with the Swans, of course. Handful of games up there. Jarman's to go. I tell you what, he flies for everything. He's a bit of a Jeremy Howe out there for the Bombers. That swirling breeze illustrated nicely on that last set shot for goal from Gray. Just popped it out to the right, hoping that breeze would bring it back left, but just died down at the wrong moment if you're of the black and white persuasion. So Lycett, and here's a bit of a change. It's Bastion going against him. We'll see if he can hold him off, but it looks like he's about half the size of Scotty. Geez, diving in, he looks very fit. Primed himself for a big finals run as Scott Lycett. Back where it all began. Inside 50, body work! Done early. Too good. You don't see Jarman Segal beaten that often in a bit of a one-on-one and slack marking over the back in that far pocket. Jack Gaffney, tough angle, but nothing on, so he looks like he'll go back and back himself in.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight angle. I wonder if he's got this in him, Gaffney.
Under 18 South Australian rep in the National Championships way back in 2014. Long time since that happened. Lycett's down there again. He's everywhere today.
2014, I was just in like grade 5 or 6 or something.
Seems like an absolute lifetime away. It's when Brighton was still in the Southern Footy League, of course.
Oh yes, of course.
A lot's happened since 2014, but plenty of players out there with rep experience and sample experience. Jarman Segal, of course, one of those. Even played sample footy in the same week as he played for the Bombers a couple of weeks ago. Here's Tarka. Brighton sweep, getting the broom out. A goal would do wonders for their confidence. Umpire correctly plays a ball up. Nerlich didn't dive on it. It was forced down by Ferns. Yeah, the Rucks just go for a waltz because the ball was out in front. Nash Haynes, he's pretty good. Did he push him in the back? Yep, spot on, Jack Chalmers. Ball was in front of the mark, so the umpire correctly calls it back. But nobody on that mark. Oh, on the side. Carpenter came in out of nowhere. Had the blinkers on. Chalmers, 30 out. That's a massive tackle. Ball wrenched out of there. Tarka the Mosquito buzzing around. Great body work. Forced over the boundary line. That was Greg. Might be a bit... Lysette wisely taps it down, but there's nobody there to wait for it. Both sets of hands from both teams dragged it in, and in front of what looks to be like a bit of a hen's day or something down there in the pocket.
Yeah, I was going to say, hen's parties decided to wander in from Jetty Road. Fantastic.
Nothing to be excited about on the field, though, if they're Brighton supporters so far. We dived on that. The ball came out the back. Lucky for Broden Hawkins. We'll have a third ball up. Will we? No, it spoils out. Brighton won first there. Great tackle. Came in from Chalmers. Windsor holding the ball, free kick, and he'll look to boom it inside forward 50. Can they get their first goal from this?
Chalmers. Ball inside forward 50, as you just mentioned. Waiting at the back though with Ferns, wearing the black and white strip. And the ball goes over the top of the boundary line. Just having a look as well, Broadview, Tea Tree Gully, that game. Tea Tree Gully now have a 21-point lead. So, danger signs a little bit for Broadview to put them right back in this hunt. Well, I guess the hunt to survive.
Just makes that Brighton and Broadview game final round next week. It's going to be an absolute mouth-watering affair.
It could be, as you said, win and you are in situation. Meantime, ball goes down the wing. Oh, the tap over the top was absolutely incredible. Gray, then Dinoff had to stop. Had a couple of players charging, so Gray went, give me the footy back, I'll do it all myself. Ball then on with Greg, who then decides to drop it across. Coming in there, Dwyer should have grabbed it, still alive. Unable to, it's going to work its way out now. And Brighton able to get out of there, but not for much longer, because here comes Hunter Carter.
Yeah, it was all under an immense amount of pressure, like the boiler room in Titanic there. They got it out. So Hunter Carter pumps it in, played a couple of Resi's games for North. Send that fist into the bounce. That's a golden one. Harvey puts some pressure on. Gee, they were just skirting around the Port players, the Brighton defenders in that last entrance, afraid to lay a tackle, weren't they?
Yeah, it was
Sammy Gray's genius, though. How about a tap?
That is absolute class. There's only one word for that.
Something you can't train. Just taken down, a bit of body contact on laying. Umpire says, nah. Shakes the footy yourself, ahead of Miller Carter. Of course, Hunter's brother. 22 league games for Port between 21 and 24. And played for Moonter up in the Yorks. It's out of bounds off the boot. Brighton reload, Lysette in the hole. He's got a mortgage on that position. Just puts himself when the footy drops, 9 times out of 10. Booms at about 50. Brighton are well stocked. The punch comes out, chasing after that. Can Perry get there and knock it on? He's well held off it. Gaffney to the Jack variety. Another inside 50. They're racking him up. How's that from Evans? Defensively sound. Punches it out of side. 19.5 gone. Only one goal in the term so far, going the way of Port. And we're about to tick into time on. That's Sportle and Hahn, zero carb scoreboard. Still a 41-point lead for District.
Of course, Scotty Lysette spends the week installing pools when he's not playing footy. Says he loves it as well. Stuff out of there! No, not towards where it needed to go. It was in the goal square, but it's not gone through, and in the end it has gone out of bounds. He was saying to me that I asked him, is he ever going to come back, do some media work, and he said, oh, don't rule me out, but not at the minute. I'm really enjoying installing the pools, so...
Yeah, I had a bit of a chat with him at a game against Shock, and he was saying exactly the same thing, really enjoying his footy again.
Which is good. Which what we want to see is a talented player, so he should be out there playing. Meantime, here comes Haynes. In the end, did win the footy, surprised himself a little bit, so just put it out towards Lysette, who was coming at the back. In the end, it was a 2-on-1 ahead of him, and Brighton do win out with the 2. Ball now just sits. Lysette picks it up, fires it out. Carter Carter and a couple are coming across now. All slapped away. Worked its way back towards Nash Haynes, who slipped at the crucial moment. Was able to get the footy and recover. Had Siney working for him. Now the drilling ball towards the top of the 50, but no. Strong mark taken defensively, and Brighton will recover.
Give that a Bianco Mark of the Day nominee. Just the one Duke. Other one was wrestling. And that kick arrived just on time. 41-point hole for the Bombers, but not for lack of trying. Some great efforts from their ruckman, Bastion. That last contest on the wing against Lysette, but Lysette had 2 men hanging off him and still got a clearance. It's incredible.
He's so strong. He's strong in his core, which I guess helps him as well. He's able to control. The contest with people hanging off him.
Now they started the day with Dixon on Lysette, and now Bastion will go against him here, and you can just see the size difference by looking at him. See if Bastion has a bit of a leap. Get the pogo stick out and just try to work Lysette under the footy.
Running vertical jump.
Takes the front position. Now assumes the back. Just waits for the footy to come over the top. Read it beautifully. Real chance for the Bombers, but it was touched. Rivers was shuffled under it. Haynes, he's everywhere. They got a couple of Haynes, of course, spelled differently. Warner just hassles Jack Gaffney. Makes him do a U-turn, spins around. Nice loose man off half-back. No pressure at all. Here's Broden Hawkins. They kicked their only goal of this quarter like this and just made the Bombers' heads drop. There's Batty, yet to get him to the game. Well, he has now. Only 1 goal to his name. That came with the 9th minute of the first quarter. Pretty anonymous in this second term. But they just sweep forward when they hit the go button. They're off and gone. 8-4-52, 5 behinds, 47-point lead on the cusp of half-time, you imagine. Only 2 goals in this quarter now, and the Bombers, that hole just got a bit deeper.
Yeah, they're certainly not helping themselves. Brighton, they're in all kinds of trouble. To be realistic here, having a look at the scoreboard, 47 points, scored on Hahn doing the job there for us on the sponsor side of things, but yeah, absolutely not what you want to be though. There's a Lysette's kick, only works its way out as far as Warner.
They got Gaffney back as a loose here. He's chasing the back of this pack.
Well, he's now got a 2-1 to deal with there. Does Dixon? He might have won himself a free kick, and he did. So he did well to do that.
Didn't need to give away the free, as I said, because Gaffney was about 5 metres back of that contest. A little tap out the back, and he would have got the clearance out. But he gave away the free. Chance for the Bombers.
Dixon loads up, asking a lot of his forwards because Gaffney was at the front of the pack. Carter was waiting down. Ball's going to go out in front of the other Carter out there. So now Haynes clears it all the way over the boundary line.
Would it be an understatement to say Brighton need a goal?
Yeah, that's probably a fair statement, I'd say.
24 gone, only 2 goals in the term, so it can't be much time left here in time on. Hit a mark. Strong contest. Where's Dixon? Oh, here's Haynes. He's got a few travelators installed in back 50. Just jumps on him every single time he's near it. Slides forward. Great body work in there. Brighton certainly haven't given up. Some excellent defensive efforts. Murphy there. Boundary throw in. 45 out.
So time continues to tick away. 1 minute, that was the call.
So under a minute. Those crystals of sand just drop through the hourglass. Brighton, thanks to their 2 straight wins coming into this, man. If they lose this, it's not all over. But with Gullies in front, it could be close. Lysette, bit of a dubstep. Oh, the big man! And the big spoil on the line to save the blush as we head into half-time. 8-5-53, 5 behinds. How's Scotty Lysette? Bit of a dirty dancing type manoeuvre. Turn left, put the indicator on. He thought he had it too.
Oh, I thought he had it. I was riding that one home. It wasn't a beat. Meantime, here comes Segal. He can fly this time. Takes a relatively... Well, for that one, that's, what, a 1 out of 10 out of difficulty for him?
Just like a bit of a chest mark in the backyard, I reckon.
And I think breathing might have been harder for him then, as down the line it goes. Ball slipping and sliding over the top. Dixon, he was involved, but in the end, well, it was the man with the yellow card. Langy was involved. And he was taken to ground, so it's going to be a ball up. Lysett, well, he stopped running. Probably should have kept running because he might have ended up with the footy. Lang had the ball.
I'll tell you what, on the scoreboard it looks all one way, but Brighton around the contest, 9 times out of 10 are really putting in some big efforts, some big tackles. It's just that 1 time out of 10 where Port can get that quick handball, that quick kick, and Brighton just commit that 1 number too many to the contest, and Port have made them pay on the outside.
There it is, half-time, the scoreboard, thanks to Sportle and Hahn, 8-5-53, plays 5 behinds. Jack, your thoughts?
Dominant from Port District. They've come with a mission, and Josh Ramsey, I dare say, they've been inconsistent this year of Port, both in-game and the overall fixtures and results, but with finals only 2 weeks away, they need to tune up for them, and they've come here with that mission. And to be fair, Brighton have got a lot of key outs. They've missed their captain Carthy. They've gotten the job done the past couple of weeks without him, but just that extra oomph around the contest from the likes of O'Loughlin Johncock, and I think the worst game to be missing your first choice ruck in Jed Farquhar would be against Port, and unfortunately they started with Dixon. They've had to change that matchup to Bastion. His first senior game as well of the season, Jordan Bastion, and he's bang against Scott Lysett. So welcome to first grade footy, the Victor Harbour and Goolwa product, but it's been just trying to fill square holes with round pegs for Brett Backwell, and they haven't managed to score a goal to half-time. It's been a dominant opening half for Port, but, 7 goals to 2 the last time these two sides met, third quarter in favour of Port. If Brighton can reverse that, we might have a game on our hands, because that quarter, Lockie, I think Brighton probably had more of the ball inside their forward 50.
Yeah, they did. They looked better despite the fact they got scored against pretty heavily. Their defence has let them down a little bit, but also their conversion of goals as well. 8 goals, 5 plays, 5 behinds. That's only another 8 scoring shots. Sounds like a lot, but still, you probably should be closer than where you are, 8 goals down.
And no Wellesby up forward, of course, just means that Will Rivers wears that number 1 defender and he can't get any loose space. They're not worried about anybody else, and Tarka has been held beautifully as well. And their 2 goals that quarter, Port, they came on the counter-attack where, as I mentioned in the call, they pushed numbers around that contest, but as soon as they leak out the back, their speed on the outside has been a killer. So Port have Spock next week at home, and that massive mouth-watering clash for Brighton against Broadview could be a relegation decider. At half-time in that one, Tea Tree Gully lead 35 to Broadview 22. Massive ramifications at the bottom end of the Div 1 table. All right, it's half-time. Take a break, come back and join us second half in about 5 or 10 minutes right here at Brighton Oval on Filming Footy. Thanks, John.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic second half of footy. Brighton, the home team, if they win today, they are safe, but they're 5 behind. Port District, they've been absolutely brilliant. 8 goals, 553. Plenty of footy still to be played. My name's Lachlan Gould, and your commentator to start the second half, Jack Moore.
So Lysette, they put Dixon back in there. Might have had a couple of jabs. Lysette goes in a little bit too hard. So Brighton, a perfect start would be a clearance and a goal. Quite mismatch, just getting over the shoulder of Perry, and there's Loy. Trying to bring some joy into this one. Dixon, he pops up everywhere. And he got taken high. So the umpire just getting involved early. Perhaps giving Brighton a few free kicks they should have got in that second quarter. We saw a massive leg from Mackay kick a goal from this exact spot. Has Dixon got the distance?
I'll back him in.
He goes back like he has. And no one's, there's one lead on, but he ignores it. And Brighton have equalised back on the goal line. So Dixon's going to put it up on the breeze and see if he can. It's a mung, a dirty mung. Oh, and he's hit Scotty Nerlich, the captain for today, right on the chest. Set play.
Yeah, we'll say that's what it was. I'm not sure it was, but I'll take that.
First goal on the board. If he can snap it in from here. They practice these on a daily occurrence. Perfect start. Third quarter, minute in, and they're into double digits. And our Hemsday crowd off to the right-hand side here at Brighton Oval are going ballistic. Well, 1 goal down, 7 to go. Every comeback starts somewhere on the Sporto and Hahn Zero Carb scoreboard. 8-5-53 Port District, their halftime score. Brighton, their first goal of the day, thanks to Scotty Nerlich, his 4th goal on the season. 1-5-11. Still, the margin is at 42 points.
It would be a mammoth comeback if they were to do it, but maybe Gray, however, he's got other ideas. Decides to hand pass across. That hand pass was intercepted. The intended target was Gould. He then laid the tackle, and holding the ball was called. So Gould with the ball. Decides to load up. And in the end, it's going to sit. Harvey comes wheeling through. No one really willing to lay a hand on him. Ball given across. Segal. He's a high fly. Kicks it towards the pack this time himself. Carter was there.
Kicking in danger, free kick. I didn't think it was there because it wasn't really a swinging boot. It's got to be a dangerous motion, but the umpire's perfectly positioned, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, shall we?
We shall. Port District have the football. Ball towards Gaffney. So Gaffney on true centre wing. Got options ahead of him. One of those is Mackay. Comes out and grabs it. He then turns and he's got another option there in Gould. So Gould, probably just on about 55 metres there, decides to drill it inside forward 50. The bouncing footy missed everybody the floating footy missed everybody in the end. And they should be able to get away with it now. The Bombers, Mark to Higgins, and now they should be out.
Put enough on it and got all the way through to Book. Ty Murphy, pretty clean in the end, but now he's claimed. Late handball, did beautifully. There goes Book, he turns the pages and goes back in, and how clean from Nash Haynes to win it out. Charming Segal, if you don't mind. Not Brighton's day so far, but he's putting on a bit of a show of his own. Here's Dixon. He got it from Perry on the edge of 50. Free kick given away. So Port just panicking a tad. Jakey Tarker, the goal machine. Can they get him involved? That kick, not one of his best. Turns it straight over.
He did. Certainly not what he had in mind. Mark, meanwhile, great grab by Gaffney. Gaffney's kind of dancing around, not sure where he wanted to go. In the end, had to take the relieving option. And now it's in the hands of Ferns. So Ferns decides to wheel across the ground. Dwyer, that might have been the intended target. It didn't quite work out though. Brighton read the footy way better then. Now the kick inside forward 50 towards the left-hand side of screen. Gaffney's back on it. Gives it across. And Greg's able to get it out, but only as far as the boundary line, so it's going to come back in, out of bounds on the full. Your kicker's going to be Bennett.
Yeah, we saw Brighton start the second quarter like this, but just couldn't get any score on the board. Well, they've already done that. Need more nourishment. In the hole, Sammy Gray. He's a bit too short to take the mark. Rivers crushes the pack. There's Book. Just get out of there if you're a District fan. Oh, a little bit of a shimmy to the right, shimmy to the left. Higgins all the way down there. I think he's kicked a goal. Umpires aren't sure. Flirting with that goalpost. If they're in doubt, should be the minor score, and there was a bit of doubt there. So a behind, a game of inches, but Brighton on top in the early stages. 5.5 gone, margin cut to 41. Port District are locked in their back half here.
I'll tell you what, he unloaded a jet engine off his foot then. And nearly gave the Bombers their second goal of the day. Wasn't to be Dwyer. And the calls have I've got 2 down the ground there from Siegel. He's got some relief now from...
So Brighton have got a couple in the middle of the ground, but if it gets over them, it's all one-on-one. There's 3 contests, but Brighton are just trying to turn the ball over in between the arcs. If they don't, it's going to be trouble.
They're just trying to put their way through it, aren't they, Jack? As Batty goes up the line for District now. Turn the footy over. Tackle laid in the end. Strong work in there defensively. Gray, the tackler on Sheffield. Ball goes down again. Oh, well done. Great waiting down there from Gray. Ball's out towards half forward now. Oh, the little shimmy was pretty good. Oh, he went out. He went out. That's unfortunate because he'd left Murphy in the water.
Murphy just got a little bit sucked into that contest and just didn't notice that there was one out the back. Whether it was his man or not, it's in that forward half of the ground now for Port. So Brighton need to man up. Still one-on-one. Just going with the beat your man approach, and it's working so far, but need a few more goals on the scoreboard. Still down by 7. So boundary umpire chucks it back over his head, taken like a mark from Mackay, and he tried to bustle his way through. That rule, of course, when you take it out of the ruck, not holding the ball these days, but if you elect to take the tackle on, you've got to get rid of it. That ball's going to nobody. Reach over the back and a bit of holding on, and Port will get it. Thought it was a little bit of half a dozen and 6 of the other there, but Gray will definitely take it. From a Power and Swans player in the AFL, and just escorted towards the line. Ty Murphy slides in.
I don't know. I think Gray was having a discussion with Warner down there just as he got that free kick.
He loves to chat, Sammy Gray, that's for sure.
Bit of a smile.
His talent and skill definitely back it up. He can definitely walk the talk. He's manned by Harvey. Just ushered off it there at that contest by Miller Carter. The Gray was free, but it goes in the opposite direction. Haynes. Carter, hand around the arm, and Brighton are off. Need some value for this effort. Harvey back in the side today, and that kick is just horrible. Here's Modestash. Haven't seen much of him, but he's done a pretty good defensive job. Lockie Gregg, fresh off the bench. The kick was overcooked. Higgins, former Sturt under-18 player. It's gotten all the way through. Kicker of the last goal, Nerlich. Getting out of second. Finds Tarka. Smartly stops. He'll go back. Brighton, inch by inch, clawing their way back here.
Yeah, Tarka kicked 5 a couple of weeks ago from memory. He's on a rich vein of form at the minute, so I really expect him to put this one around the corner.
The umpire's pushed him on a pretty acute angle. Not sure that's exactly in line with the goal, but for Tarka, oh, it mattered. They're peppering Brighton. Couple of behinds and outweighing the inside 50s, but still down by 40 points. It was 36 at quarter time, so they're just running in quicksand at the moment. 8-5-53, 1-7-13. 9 played in the Sporto and Hahn Ultra Zero Carb scoreboard.
40 points the margin then. As Port District come bounding out towards the wing. It's the near side. Oh, coming cross again, Siegel. Routine for him as he goes inside. Turns, and now here's Perry. Perry unloads. How's that? Offline is how it is. 1 goal, 8 now for Brighton. 8 goals, 5. Port Districts, that's on the Sport on Hans scoreboard. And it is now a 39-point margin.
Had a start last time I did Brighton versus Spock. They kicked more behinds in 75% or so of their games this season. So they're just, the inaccuracy killing them once again. But that kick is turned straight over. Haynes drops the head. Not enough Gatorade at half-time for District. They've come out a little bit lethargic. Perhaps thought the job might have been done. In all fairness, it still well could be. Nerlich is going to back himself from 52. Or set it up. He sets it up. That's the right call. Down in the hole. Lysell was there. Oh, he's immediately claimed, laying off the back. And Greg with a solid tackle. The Bombers can go from here. It's back to a 5-goal game and it's game on.
Absolutely is, but they've got to win this footy now. And they haven't yet. And it is going to be a free kick. It's going to go the way.
It's going to be a Brighton free kick here, I think. It's going to be holding the ball. I saw the last half of the signal. Yep, Port District player hands on heads. This should be a pretty regulation kick. Might be Sheffield. No, he's walking away from it, leaving space out the back.
It looks like Alexander might be trying to put it in the book.
Yeah, it could be booked. Exactly. Well called. Spot on indeed.
So Alexander Book
made his senior debut in round 1. Dropped after round 2, but back in the side after round 9.
What can he do? Kick is looking pretty good. There's some claps in the grandstands. And I tell you what, Brighton, they've revved up the jet engines now. The Bombers are well and truly back in town.
Well, we said before half-time in this exact contest in round 8, Port in the third quarter kicked 7 goals to 2 after Brighton led by 22 at half-time. So we could have a bit of a flip the script third quarter. Still plenty of time in this one. It's just goal by goal, Lockie, isn't it?
It is.
One at a time.
You just got to focus on, you can't try and claw back a leader of what it was at half-time inside a quarter. You've just got to focus on being maybe within 4 goals, within 3 goals at three-quarter time. Give yourself a real opportunity, a bit of belief.
So Sammy Gray still starting forward for Port. They still think they've got a pretty good margin, and in all fairness, they do. Gee, hasn't the inclusion of Harvey been an absolute wild card? He's missed a bit of footy, Shane Harvey. He's making up for lost time! Lockie Gregg, no getting out of that one. Had the blinkers on, Harvey, just as I gave him a pump up. Goes the way of Sammy Gray, elects to get a bit of body contact. To go here will just remove all the forward pressure from Brighton, but it's not going to be one. Umpire stopped, propped. He was going to pay holding the ball there, but the ball just came out. Umpire Smitherham will ball it up. We've played 13 minutes. Can Brighton rebound or can Port get the settler? Gould, it comes the way. Perry was fighting hard for it. Harvey, Higgins, Dixon puts the Jets on. The Flames come out the back. That's a pretty good kick. If there wasn't last possession in the Adelaide Footy League, Lysett would go short to Haynes. Mark manned beautifully by the captain Nerlich. He's really leading from the front today. And Brighton push that zone up. Can District get through it?
Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Breathe. This is going to be a frantic last quarter and a half in the Adelaide Footy League Division 1. Lachlan Gregg's got it. He goes in and finds Gaffney. Gaffney then turns. He's got a leader. Great grab, Batty.
Yeah, there was a hole there because Brighton had just looked around, trying to see exactly who that was. There was a bit of a miscommunication between Evans and it might have been Francis down there. Whoever it was, though, left that millisecond, and James Batty knows how to read that. Lead into the space, and the kick inside was just beautiful. Batty couldn't help but mark it, and the goal machine, can they rev him up again? He's already got 2 for the day.
James Batty. Kick is offline. He might need a fly here. He did get a fly, but McKay only got the one hand to it. Over the boundary line, over the behind line it goes. And the scoreboard now reads 2-8. Plays 8-6. And we are a 34-point margin on the Sportal and Hans scoreboard. How good, and indeed, how good is this game of footy at the minute here, Jack?
It's ramping up. There's still a lot in this. Brighton's quarter so far, no doubt about it. Here's Dixon. We'll go around the grounds for you shortly as well. Some real upsets happening at the moment. Off hands, and it might be a throw-in. No, already out. So Haynes has it. Moves it across the face of goal for Port. Harry Dwyer, no time to die. No time to rest. That kick's got a hit. Just a bit overcooked. How's the bounce? Greg ordered up a perfect bounce. I tell you what, Jarman Segal might be best on ground on a 5-goal loss here. He's having himself a day, reading everything in the air like a short novel. Just turned around Rivers. Warner, Rivers needs to sprint to get back inside forward 50. Oh, that kick's got nothing on it from Warner. The intentions were right. Wanted to find Chalmers, could only find Gould. This is what has hurt Brighton all day. Evans, step behind, because that kick just makes them push back their zone. Lead comes. It was Dienhoff, but the kick a bit short. Oh, it comes out in the tackle. Umpire had the whistle in the mouth. And he would have done better just to hold it in there, because the kick means it's going to be a Port District free. 60 out. Short option. It's Batty again. He's revving up. Oh, incident in the pocket. Brighton free kick down there.
Yeah.
And 25 metres. So the free kick would have been where Batty was. That's the most advantage. And another 25 tacked on. Could that be a turning point? 16 minutes in, Port still have a 34-point lead.
I was watching that as you were calling, Jack, and magnificent job you were doing. Oh, here we go, turnover. I'll finish that thought in a minute, because Dwyer, here we go, out the back. Here's Gray, dance step. Oh, fantastic tackle. You are going absolutely nowhere. And I tell you what, Cheeseman Dutton has driven him right into the dirt.
Doesn't get many touches as Cheeseman Dutton, of course, with his role, but does the 1%ers. And I tell you what, Sam Gray might send the boundary line a card, because without that there, he would have been absolutely gone.
Just to mention as well, there was a little bit of an off-the-ball incident. I think it was just the afters that got Port District in trouble there.
Thrown in. Port, only 2 goals since that quarter time rampage. Kick went about 6 metres, and Sam Gray claims it has a laugh at the back of this pack. So can Brighton sweep the ground like Port have done so far? They're getting in each other's face down there. Just revved up at the back of this pack. Lang, he's an aggravator. He's unmarked at the moment, which means there's a spare Port District player somewhere. It might have been McKay, who found himself in the turf after the ruck contest. Bit of a teaser for you. Spock have hit the front against Glenunga.
Wouldn't that be an upset?
And in the Broadview Tea Tree Gully game, Gullies are up by about 20 points. So massive ramifications here for Brighton. Those full scores at 3/4 time. There's a game to be won right here.
Back.
Way too aggressive, Lockie. You called it beautifully. Brighton is back. So we've almost ticked into time on. 18 gone. If Brighton can get this one back to a 4-goal game at 3/4 time, you never know. Lang's going to go long.
Lang. Here we go. He was aiming for Dixon. It might still get to him. It's not going to, though. Moody Starch. He was at the back, now inside. He needs a mark, and he's got a mark. Kick was perfectly weighted to the advantage then. And it's a fantastic grab. That is a massive opportunity here for the player in Hawkins.
Yeah, he's kicked 9 goals this season, 105th game. He played his 100th game about 5 games ago, so congratulations to him.
Hawkins steps in. Goal umpire had to do a little bit of work, but there's the steadier. What have Brighton got now? That's a massive goal for Port Districts. They're now 9-6-60. Brighton 2-8-20. And I tell you what, 40-point margin there on the Sportal and the Hahn scoreboard. Port Districts still in cruise control, despite how dominant Brighton have been in this third quarter. 2
shots for Brighton, just missed. One from a pretty narrow angle, and another one from the pocket, and that was Tarker's. And then Port just put the pressure on, just hold it inside forward 50, and your team defence will break eventually, and they do. Hawkins joins Lysette and Gould, Harry Carter, Steiny, McKay, and Batty's got 2. Time to put the foot down again for Port. Brighton have been super valiant, but it might just be in vain. Strong mark on the far pocket. Batty wants it, demands it. Had a bit of separation. To undo all the good work of the Bombers, they were 2 goals to zip. Before that Hawkins goal all the way down there, there's a couple of Bombers that fly and spinning into a tackle. Dangerous is Carpeny. And he's pinged for it, thought he might be. Spun into the arms of 2 Bombers, and the umpire's going to view that as taking the man on every time. Harvey, Tarka, right up at half-back to get the footy. He's got a bit of a nosebleed being this high up the ground. 3-on-1 District. Oh, he drops at the back. That's Miller Carter. Now he's harassed. And the footy's coming our way. Warner hasn't given up. These Bombers haven't given up. But the margin, it was 48 at half-time. It's still 40, and we've ticked into time on in this third quarter on the Sportal and Hahn Zero Carb scoreboard.
Yeah, fantastic work there from Warner. I thought, get across. Big smother. Absolutely brilliant from him. Lysette back in the middle. He's doing the ruck work now for Port District. Ball. In the end, it ends up in the hands of Harvey, who just puts it towards the half-forward line here for Brighton. Haynes, he's going to control one bounce. Oh, he could be in some trouble here. He was able to get the kick away just in time before the pressure closed. He was going to bounce and collected by Gould. Gould inside. Was it March? Yes, it was. A diving take. That is absolutely brilliant. Ball from Batty, driven in, Deinhoff. And that's as easy as you like from Port District.
Another just roost from the Brighton player inside 50. It was all one-on-one, but the Port defenders rather have been just excellent. And with the booming kick, no Brighton player ran forward because they were scared of the counter-attack. And even though they didn't, Port just went coast to coast. And here's the big German.
Deinhoff. Kick is offline. So that one's going to be a 9-7-61 scoreboard to a 2-8-20. Of course, that's brought to you by Hahn and by Sportal.
3-goal quarter in total. Now filming footy Saturday afternoon. Blockbuster here. Brighton playing for their lives, but probably won't be in the relegation zone. Oh, a mongrel little torp effort. If the drop punts aren't getting it done, maybe that. It was almost an uncontested mark, but the way the ball spun, he couldn't drag it in, and neither can Batty. Escorts it out. So 22 and a half gone. Third quarter, 3 minutes remaining, thanks to our trusty and friendly timekeeper here at Brighton Sports and Recreation Ground. Batty's just fallen on. Oh, the umpire's going to pay in the back here as they clear out. I thought I saw a signal. We'll just have a look here. Yeah, he's paid it. So a free kick for in the back. It's a tad unfortunate. It looked like he might have just fallen off to the side, but I'm sure Batty will take it.
He certainly will. Great player there, James Batty. He's going to give the footy off here. Haynes towards goal. Absolutely set sail for home, but missed.
Just leaving a few on the table here, Paul. They could have really blown this out, made it beyond a 10-goal gap, and it's going to be pretty hard for Port with only a quarter left to not lose this game. 42 points on that Sportal and Hahn scoreboard, but they could be out by more. Here's Warner. Our district just spent all their petrol tickets. Now they got anything left. Oh, those kicks. It's been turnover after turnover. And Will Rivers, you can kind of understand the frustration. The delivery inside 50 has been pretty poor. He's been manned up by Sean Davidson, who hasn't given him an inch all day. And a little bit of frustration. Wasn't in the original marking contest, then pushed him out. Umpire said 25. Monastash loads it. And the fist pumps it. Oh, it's still in. It's very slippery in that far pocket. I might go out of bounds and the fall over his head. No, it stays in. Ball went about 2 metres right, 2 metres left. And 5 up and down. And the field umpire's going to have to throw it up. 24 and a half gone, 42-point lead for Port.
Ball up, Kemport. So what would be a very helpful goal. Meantime, Brighton have got other ideas. They extract the footy. Ball down the line, marked by Baston. Baston then gives it off towards Perry. Perry, oh, that kick. I'm not sure what he was quite trying to do there because Greg's the only player back and he collects it. Had two Brighton opponents that were coming at him, but they were never really going to get there to affect him. Long ball from Woody Starch. Up the line and taken fantastically well, grabbed by Hawkins.
It's a real shame that last inside 50 because Sheffield was just busting a gut. And if the kick went 5 metres right, he probably would have run onto it first. Unlucky really, but just poor skill.
Ball back, big fist this time and over the top there from Evans. Some time continues to tick on here. 40 seconds left of this third quarter, the premiership quarter. Throw him back in. Here we go. Ball given across. Oh, well done. And just walk his way through there. Nerlich, the captain for this afternoon's encounter here for Brighton.
That's a better kick.
It was Sheffield.
Just puts it in front of his leading option.
Sheffield at half forward. Ball down towards the back, into the open goal. There you go. Warner hits it for 6. And there we go. Brighton 3-8. Meantime, Port District's 9-8. So 62 plays 26.
Sport on Han, Zero Carbs, scoreboard, filming footy, Sports Interactive. Dartfish, and that might be a bit of a nomination of a snag of the day. Pretty regulation effort, but the passage of play was elite down this near side in the middle of the ground. Warner, he will run all day, make no mistake about that. So about a minute left, I'd say.
Might be the best passage of play I think Brighton have played all day.
And it's amazing what happens when you just take a millisecond to look up and put it to the advantage of your leading player. Lyset just bullies Bastion in the ruck. Straight away inside forward 70 for Port Districts. But one more to Brighton if they can sweep it again. It's only 5 goals. As the mist, light rain starts to flush across the Bayside. See, the throw in goes astray, goes towards Port's favour. Lyset will take that. Out the back, Miller Carter. And that's going to be too late. Siren goes first. So a quarter of little difference in terms of scoreboard. It was 48 at half time. It's cut back to 36 now. They've edged in by a couple of goals. They could have had it closer, but Port also could have had it over 10 goals. Any chance for Brighton last quarter?
For mine, no. I think Port District have been too good. I think Brighton will be left licking their wounds, and they've got a massive clash next week that they probably need to start focusing on now. I think this one's gone for them.
Let's just take you around the grounds quickly. So the other key matchups at the base of Div 1. The 5 has been set. The top 5 finals teams are locked away, but it's all about who goes down. So Teachery Gully leading Broadview by 20 points. That's fourth quarter, early on. Paynham have kicked back and they're leading Prince Alfred. Prince Alfred pretty secure. If they win this, their security is assured. But the big upset right now, St. Peter's, they're doing it again. They're beating Glenunga by 12 points at 3-quarter time. We'll take a break. Fourth quarter is coming up, and at Brighton Oval, it's Port up by 32 points. Just in time for a Brighton fourth quarter comeback. Is it on the cards, or will Port consolidate their third position? We're away. Gray chases after it. Just taps it on. And Curtis Perry was claimed umpire, letting him play, and pings him. Didn't make boot to ball contact, and perhaps an advantage. It'll come right back. Lang tried to just bite off a couple of extra rare bits of the steak. Free to Port, and a goal here would probably sort things out. Up by 36, first minute, fourth term. On the lead, like a gazelle. Just galloping over the turf, Scotty Lysette. He's a fit man, he's back in form, and he's priming himself for a finals charge.
He doesn't look like he's past 30. I think he's about 33, 34 now, but yeah.
Looked like a pretty broken man when he was it last season at Port.
Yeah.
And the past 2 or 3 years, really. I mean, the difference in level is obvious, but just needed the off-season, get those surgeries, split his time in a main ruck role and up forward. Just a very difficult matchup. Floats it all the way. Distance looks pretty decent. And Scotty Lysette might have put a full stop on this one early in the fourth, but that makes it increasingly difficult for Brighton now. They need 7 goals to get back into this. And all they've got is 3 in 3 quarters. Sport to enhance scoreboard, 10-8-68. Just what Brighton didn't want, 3-8-26. Lysette stands up, and Port are looking to secure that third spot.
Yeah, this is a dangerous sign there for Brighton. I mean, it was before, but this is a situation you probably don't want to find yourselves in, especially heading into what is essentially going to be now a relegation playoff next week.
That's a great call from you as well, because percentage could come into it. 47% for Brighton, 45 for St. Peter's, 45 for Broadview, and 47 for Tea Tree Gully. So Brighton cannot afford to get blown away here.
Warner collected. Brighton here might be able to get one back. They desperately need it. Chalmers goes inside Warner. Here's Harvey. He's tackled. Great. Well, he got the footy, but then he turned it over. There's Nerlich, the captain, in the leading forward. Well done. Great take. Knee slides.
That boot of Nerlich dripping in caramel was that sweet. What a leg. Just put it into the space, and he couldn't help but mark it. Got a big fat Sharon mark on his chest.
A fantastic grab in the end. Now, we wait. What can he do? Kick is on its way. Alexander Book grabbed on the line as well. And it plays on. There it is through the middle. They desperately needed that one, Brighton. And that just kind of restores a little bit of respectability there.
Not dead yet. They've come back from very tricky spots, and the captain stands up. Scotty Nerlich there, kicks his second of the day. He opened the goals for Brighton in the first minute of the third quarter. Yep, you heard me correctly. Goalless to half-time, the Bombers, but they've just found a little bit more fuel. They're running on close to empty. Need to keep Port pretty much scoreless for the rest of this quarter and score 6 of their own. We've seen it happen. These conditions aren't favourable for it.
It would be one of the all-time great comebacks in this division.
Sport to enhance scoreboard, filming footy Saturday afternoon, Sports Interactive broadcast, thanks to Archie's. Dixon, well, Brighton are threatening again, Will Rivers. First time he's got a little bit of separation, and by separation I mean about 10 centimetres, because Sean Davidson has worn him like a glove. Hasn't had many touches, but he's probably been one of their best for Port just because he's kept this man so quiet.
Yeah, he has. He's been really good today, I think. And Will Rivers gets an opportunity now to prove how good he can be.
On the Crows Sandfield list back in 2018. Played some footy at Padthaway for 2 in a minute for the Bombers. Looks remark about a metre out once again. No action replay there. Chef, they're burrowing over it. Goalkeepers are back. Oh, Soccer was there, but it was never going to get through. There was about 4 or 5 sets of legs between the ball and the goal, but who knows? Could be a handy point. 4-9-33, 10-8, 68. 5 minutes gone. Final quarter on Filming Footy.
So Haynes just goes for distance. We've seen it so often across the sample. A big, long, booming ball out towards the wing. Now Higgins, well, he's wrapped up, made sure he was going absolutely nowhere there. Fantastic tackle in the end by Gray. Doing what he does best. Ball tapped down. Waiting at the back of the packet then was Gaffney. Collected though by Higgins at half back. Now the ball just bounces down along the wing, collected. And across ground they go. Footy should have been collected, wasn't. Instead they let it just run through. Well done Chalmers. He's inside forward 50. Now waiting at the fall of the ball there was Sheffield. He had to get the footy out. Did. Oh, the hand pass wasn't what he needed there, Book. And Davidson's there. Sock it out of there by Haynes. He's still got about 40 metres on the kick. Slipping and sliding everywhere. That mud pile in the centre of the ground, not doing anybody any favours.
Yeah, the Brighton crowd yelling for the handball, the kick, but it's not their fault. There's just, the pressure is just immense on that index. Fox Footy run, I reckon, to be off the charts.
Yeah, certainly. I think anything above 210 in the AFL is considered elite. This might be about 450 here. There's two players there. Make sure their Brighton opponent's going absolutely nowhere. Last off the bottom of the pack there is Perry.
Yeah, the umpire had tad leaning. It looked like he might have dived on it, but the conditions just favouring him.
We'll sock it along, taking meterage however they can at the minute. Districts, big tackle there. Just well done by Carter and Deinhoff there.
Yeah, the pliers just closed around like a vice. Just wound up that vice and he was absolutely going nowhere. Off the back. Oh, elbow out and ushered over the boundary line, almost dumped. Hunter Carter, strong tackle. They pick themselves up. Umpire sprints in there to sort it all out. Only the one yellow card, and saw it in the first quarter, and that's pretty much settled everything down. It's been good, hard, aggressive and fair footy since then. Lycett just gets himself to the front with sheer strength. They both had their head over the footy there, so umpires decided the Port player, Hunter Carter, his head was down first. It's his free kick. He wants to change a few phone numbers in there with the Brighton boys.
Oh, it's on here
and they want a bit of a wrestle, and they might all jump in here. Umpire's got to be on the ball. Yellow cards coming out.
There's a couple that are going to get sent off here, I reckon.
And just as I said, this game had been controlled since that first quarter yellow. Things ignite. It was that strong tackle over the boundary. I thought the tackle from Carter over the boundary could have been awarded as a dangerous tackle. And when you don't pay the first one, you're going to end up with a situation like this. If he paid the first free kick, it might have been a borderline dangerous tackle, but you end up with this kind of situation. So Lang's day is done. That's his second yellow card. He is done for the day. And a red card. So 10 minutes, they're down a man here, Brighton. Just what they didn't need. 30 out from the Port goal. Strong tackle, Cheeseman Dutton. So with that red card, it means he can't be replaced for 10 minutes. And his day is now done. Umpire throws it up. 20 out from Port's goal. They're looking to well and truly put the exclamation mark and full stop on this one. Dropping back in the hole. Haynes got hands. And they dive in again. Gee, it's a wet Sharon in there. Who wants it the most? Greg comes through. Willing handball from Gaffney. And Batty was in front. He's over the footy, but the free kick's going to a teammate. Mark set at about 40 out. Not sure if you saw what it was for there, Lockie, but Gaffney will take it.
No, I was watching the interaction down here on the bench between Lang and his coaching staff. A few smiles, but certainly some disappointment there as he marches towards the club rooms.
Jack Gaffney, 60 league games and reserves for the Eagles. Just can't squeeze it in. Flies over that left hand behind post. 9.5 gone. This game is just trickling out of seconds and chances for the Bombers. They trail still by 36 points. All the damage done in that first quarter. As Port kick their way out to a 36-point lead. And guess what? That's where we find ourselves now as the rain arrives. I tell you what, Lockie, it could be all she wrote.
Yeah, certainly. That red card makes life difficult now. Davidson. All back there towards Greg. That's Lachlan Variety. He decides to... Oh, it's on again here. It is on for young and old. As the balcony crowds round to watch. Certainly. Well, they might leave with 4 points here, but they're going to leave with a little bit of aggression.
This is Ollie Siney, of course, who called in the first half. 11 reserves games and 29 goals. He's earned his place in this team at the back end of the senior season. Former Smosh Junior, of course. And plays some footy at the Eagles. 35 reserves games there.
Siney. Kick is on its way. That's a great kick in these conditions. And bang. Port District, they get the last laugh. Siney, he's celebrating.
Siney with a couple. Sporto and Hahn. 0 carb scoreboard is awful reading if you're in the black and gold, but going by the ladder in the form, it's going as expected really. These two sides met earlier this season for a draw. Some would have thought it would be a pretty close encounter, but it's been Port from the get-go. They banged on the first 8 goals of this game, including 4 in the opening 10 minutes of the first quarter. In all fairness, it was cooked since quarter time. Siney with the final goal of that quarter, and Siney there to put the bookend on this one. The percentage, very important for Brighton in their battle for survival. They can't let it blow out even more here. We'll go around the grounds because percentage might be a massive indicator in who gets relegated. Coming up forward, Francis was half-held. He went in over it. Diving over the ball was Gould. Just taken down in a WWE slam was Bennett. Gray. He's getting dirty, so you know he's hurting. And downfield, the umpire's really getting involved. It wouldn't have mattered because the mark was taken, and it'll be another sliding effort.
Chalmers has gone down as well with a bit of cramp, so...
It's like Christmas Day for James Batty. Get the slip and slide out. And he's slipping and sliding his way to a bit of a bag of goals here. He's coming up for his third. He could probably have 4 or 5, to be honest.
He had a quiet first half, but he's certainly exploded since half-time, I think.
He's a burst player, 421 goals in 188 senior games. And there's the Moz. Maybe a handy point for Port.
Potentially, I don't think it'll matter too much
this
now.
This game could be well and truly done, but you never know. Every score matters with that percentage for Brighton. So Sporto and Hahn, 0 cup scoreboard, could say. 11-10-76, 4-9-33, 43-point lead as this game peters out.
So Brighton side, near side wing is their best route forward. Meantime, here comes Gray. He had other ideas. Oh, big tackle! Whack! Goes Rivers. Now Gray towards the top of the goal square. Paddy was there with it. Craig's there as well. And bang, ball deflected out. I'm not sure Perry knew much about it, but he got the smother.
Yeah, and the other thing with that red card for Lang, it'll be very interesting. He's been one of their best agitators around the midfield group, just to see how the umpire reports that, and if he gets a suspension. Red cards are notoriously 1-week suspensions, depending on if a red card is for 2 yellow cards, I should say. So be very curious watching during the week to see if he's missing next week, because that would be a big hole as that tagger defensive midfielder for Brighton.
So the umpire can decide not to suspend him?
Well, the umpire will send it off and he'll put his notes, and then it'll be if the umpire decides it's worth a prescribed penalty, which for a red card is usually 1 week, but it'll all depend what he carded him for. So we're not sure if it was for rough conduct or a strike, but it'll be something to watch when the team sheets are released on Friday if he's named.
It certainly will be. Of course, that's a massive battle next week.
You would hope. Not sure what Otis Carthy has done. We know Wellesby's out with a hamstring injury, and not too sure if Lachlan John Cock has been rested or he's got an injury, but 3 big names, and as it stands right now, as Broadview are losing to Tea Tree Gully, that definitely will be a winner stays up and loser goes down battle against Broadview.
The relegation playoff, it's back.
Relegation bash, that's for sure.
Well, meantime, inside forward 50. Well, near enough too. Might be picked off by Deinhoff, although he went out.
Misty breeze coming across, and here come the Rams. They always do. Back to a level ball game with about 6 minutes to play there at St. Peter's, and Teachery Gully have won that game against Broadview. So Gullies have won by roughly about 5 goals, and we'll check the ladder at the end of this one to see what that does.
It's going to be a massive final week of minor round action with relegation still on the line, and then after that, of course, we gear up for a massive 4 weeks of finals. And I know you, Jack, you will be absolutely brimming and ready to go.
Yeah, that top 5 are obviously focusing now on the bottom half. That's where all the action is. The top 2 is set. We know the Rams and Shock. Port, with the win here, will all but secure that 3rd spot. And Payneham and Golden Grove just fighting out that 4th and 5th spot. And that Payneham game we'll check for you at the conclusion of this one. But it shapes up to be a pretty entertaining finals series. Benunga obviously will go in perhaps undefeated. That'll be a big watch. They were hot favourites last year, of course, and made it all the way through to the grand final. And the red hot Prince Alfred Old Collegiate, they live for finals, Prince Alfred, and they came up from 3rd to win that one, and perhaps won't do it this year because they won't make the finals, obviously. But Golden Grove and Payneham, even Port, on their day can match it with the Rams. So an exciting finals series ahead. But in the last, 8 minutes of this one, Brighton need to make sure they don't give away too many more goals, because that percentage, as we've spoken about, Lockie, is going to be massive. And Rivers, that last kick inside 50 went about 5 metres over his head. He's had a frustrating afternoon, as have all the entire Brighton playing group today, but not for lack of trying. I reckon the tackling pressure and intensity around the ball has still been pretty good.
It certainly has been, and correct me if I'm wrong, grand final 21st of September at Norwood Oval?
It's always the weekend prior to the AFL grand final, so I think you're spot on there. AFL have their bye week in between the end of their season and finals, and next week is the last week in both comps for Adelaide Footy League and AFL, so that sounds about right.
And there's no footy and there's no AFL here in Adelaide, so if you usually go to the AFL, why don't you come down and try the Adelaide Footy League instead, because it's absolutely fantastic. Meantime, Brighton might come charging through the centre, and it's not going to quite happen for them now. Turned over. District coming hard the other way though. Ball out now, nearly grabbed by Deinhoff, but he had all kinds of company with him. And now bouncing in, collected by Gaffney. Gaffney then shoots through a hand pass. It was a little bit of a tunnel ball. Craig's there and that ball's gone out.
Lockie, you're right. That's if you want a game that has plenty on the line, head down to Broadview Oval next week for Broadview and Brighton, because we've mentioned it ad nauseum, obviously, but massive in terms of who plays in Div 1 and who gets relegated to Div 2 next year. Tarka, inside 50, one-on-one race. Can Brighton just bring that percentage back their way a bit? Sheffield's been one of their finds this year. Book just wants to roll it down towards the puddle. Splish splash, going to go back for you on that Sportal scoreboard. Too late for the win, but percentage is going to be massive. Yeah, nice from Book.
Yeah, they'll certainly, they needed that, really, to be honest. They just needed a little bit of momentum heading into next week. Of course, they are now, they're playing for their lives. It's instead of drive to survive using a Formula 1 thing, it's footy to survive.
Second goal of the day for Alex Book. Senior debut round 1 this season, the Brighton Junior. Been back in the seniors ever since round 9. Archie's best on ground as well. Plenty of contenders from Port District today. The Hayneses have been great. Gray and Lysette have been pretty dominant. And a few others around the edges. Even Jarman Segal, maybe not best on, but he's definitely retarded a few forward entry support with his strong marking. He does it every week though, of course. Port looking to add a little bit more percentage to their margin if they can get it out the back. Here's Joey Haynes getting a nosebleed. He's that far forward. He shouldn't be there. He has himself a goal to take back to Largs with him. Only his third of the season. And when Joey Haynes is kicking goals, well, you know it's game over.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful goal there. Joey Haynes, it's weird to say because he's a half-back, but he's got a goal sense, doesn't he?
I think all half-backs get a bit of a sniff when the margin's all but sorted. If you're watching us back in Waikerie, he played some footy for the Waikerie under-18s and senior team, the Waikerie Junior. I looked it up, he's played 199 games across reserves and league for South Adelaide, so just couldn't get that extra 200 game, but I'm sure he'll claim maybe a trial match to take him up to that milestone for South.
Yeah, he certainly would. Yeah, he had a long and illustrious career. He certainly loved down south at South Adelaide, but has lived up Port District's way for a while. So he said to me it was a pretty easy choice in the end. Oh, almost being collected, but it wasn't. So just built forward in the end for Port District. Back towards Carter. Carter then fires it back across. Gould. Well, that kick, not one of his better ones.
Yeah, it's one of the first mistakes they've made inside forward 50, and it's come at the 21-minute mark of the fourth quarter. It's been that sort of day. It's been, as I mentioned, first quarter, the Mr. Hyde of Port District who have rocked up today. A very professional display. They haven't let Brighton in the game ever, really, with those 3 goals in the first 10 minutes of the contest. As a free kick will go Brighton's way, it'll come all the way back.
Question without notice, Glenunga still your premiership favourites?
You can't go against them. I had a chat with Nathan Grimer earlier this season, and he mentioned that they've played the most players, about 40 to 45 in his view, of all the Div 1 sides. And for an undefeated side to have blooded that much youth and to have players on call, ready to go in case of injury, who know what the Div 1 pressure's like, that's a pretty rare thing to have, and you expect that from the lower ranked teams to have lots of players coming through. But for Glenunga to have the unbeaten season with 1 round left, and they just know how to get the job done. They made a few different changes against Spock today, and they were challenged, but that game's still close, and fourth quarter in that one as well. We'll bring you the full result to the end of this one. 22 gone, ball was locked up near that centre circle. Let's do it now. So Spock up by 7 points with a set shot on goal in the fourth quarter against Glenunga. And I'll repeat that Teachery Gully have beaten Broadview.
Yeah, sets up a do or die between Brighton and between Broadview. Holding the ball's the call.
25 minutes gone in that Spock and Glenunga game, and it's at Spock's ends of the field. If you're a Brighton fan, you'd be hoping the Rams can pull something out late.
Oh, gone without it. That's going to be a throw, so coming back the other way now for Gaffney. Gaffney, oh, chopped off. Fantastic grab. Well done there, Brighton. We'll give it across towards Siegel. Oh, no, the hand pass. It slipped out of his hands. It opened the door, coming back the other way. Hawkins. Thrown back, or hand pass back. Siney, and he's in all kinds of trouble. Ball collected then by Brighton. Soccered forward, a little bit of soccer at the minute. Siney needed a couple of grabs, wasn't able to make any meaningful connections. Flicked out the back. A goal coming up. No, we're behind.
Very, very messy it's become, hasn't it, in the past? Probably 8 or 9 minutes. I think everyone senses the stings out of this one, and just gotten a little bit sloppy out there. I think Porter in injury management mode, just trying to go through the motions here. Credit to Brighton, they closed it to about a 36-point gap and had it in their forward 50 for a couple of set shots. That Tarker in the pocket, he missed that one, would have brought it back to under a 5-goal margin in that third quarter, but never really been closer.
No, it wasn't. They fought, and they've been outclassed by a team that's just got more talent than them. But unfortunately, that's the way sometimes how it happens when you're at the bottom of the ladder and you're fighting for your life.
Oh, it turned over on the kick in. Coming through Cheeseman Dutta, nice handball. Plenty of juice left in those legs. Dixon, he went left, ball went right. Oh, he was tackled by his own player there, very unluckily for the captain. Scotty Nerley can hold his head pretty high. He's been a great cast in that leadership role today, as have the majority of Brighton. As you said, Locke, they've just been outclassed in those key moments. There's Dixon. Lysette resting up forward. Perhaps might have come off for a rest in the last few of this one. Intercept mark. That's Mackay. He's going back behind the footy just to maintain this lead. They go route one. Here's Sammy Gray. One more for the road, perhaps. Haynes. He wants one. His namesake's got one. He's taken down. Ball splashes in there. It's like the monster mash out there. Will Rivers is just running after the footy because he wants to touch it. Crowd not happy with the umpires. It's been a tricky game to umpire, in all fairness. Lots of plays around the footy. Plenty of spot fires. A couple of yellow cards, one red. Nerlich. 26 minutes. Siren imminent here at Brighton Oval. Finn Bennett. The call is go because they know how important percentage might be. There's Bastion chasing after it. Has Sheffield about 5 metres forward of him, but he is absolutely gang tackled, and the umpire in no forgiving mood. Vice-like tackle. Short kick. Here's Greg.
Greg takes his time. Oh, he does have Davidson there, so he uses him. Kick up the line. And just take their time.
Just an update for you. St. Peter's have won, so it's a massive result there.
So the undefeated Rams. It took us all weeks, but we got there in the end.
So as it stands, Benunga with their first loss of the season. As it stands, St. Peter's move up to 7th, Broadview move up to 8th, and it'll be Brighton 9th and Tea Tree Gully 10th, I believe. I'll come back to you on that one.
We're up. Ball cleared. Dwyer. Oh, up and over the top. Went for a little bit of a ride. Went for an unrealistic ride in the end. And it was infringed. So, Carter sends it across. And towards Haynes. He might just have a little bit of a go from here. There's one for the road on the siren. Port District do what good teams do, and they put Brighton to the sword. They've won this one 12-11-83. Brighton 5-9-39. And that was a fantastic finish from Joseph Haynes to just remind everyone of his class.
Tell you what, if Scotty Nerlich didn't boot one through from about 55 with a wet rock for snag of the day, that might have been our goal of the day. It still could be. We'll see. Lockie and I will consult off air, and you can see all of that, plus the votes and the highlights, on Between the Posts with Tommy Javor. Tuesday nights, usually, on the Adelaide Footy League Facebook page. But our Dartfish Game of the Week, thanks to Sports Interactive and Archie's and Filming Footy, it's finished as it started. First quarter, 6 goals to zip, and that's pretty much the difference in the end. 13-11-89, a 50-point gap with a couple of late goals for Port to Brighton. 5-9-39, and on paper, if you look at the ladder, it's pretty much played out as you would have expected.
Yeah, 100%, I agree. It's dominance from Port District, and they send a message to Glenunga, who you just said have lost for the first time this season. That'll be an unfamiliar feeling for them. And as well, Sacred Heart, another message sent to them, massive game for them next week as they prep. They've got Prince Alfred, I believe.
Indeed. So I did make a mistake earlier, so Brighton will still be in 8th spot. St. Peter's will move ahead of them. Tea Tree Gully, of course, beat Broadview. They'll move on to 10 points. So it'll be St. Peter's in 7th place on 12 points. In 8th place, it'll be tricky. It'll come down to percentage because it'll be Broadview and Tea Tree Gully locked on 10 points apiece. But Brighton, I said it prior to the game, that draw earlier in the season will have them 8th by 1 premiership point by that draw. So it goes to show those early season games when you think nothing's on the line, it could all be the difference come end of season.
100% it could be. You're right there, Jack. I mean, this is going to be one of the tightest seasons I think we've ever seen.
So just wrapping those goal kickers up for you. Lysette got it all started. He kicked 3 for the day. Harry Carter with 1 in the first quarter. Gould kicked 1, his second of the day. Batty had a couple, could have had more. Siney with one in the first quarter and one in the last quarter. Haynes added himself a couple of late little cherry-picked goals, or he worked hard for them, let's give him that. And Mackay and Hawkins, the other goal scorers for Port. Well, for the Bombers, it was Nerlich, Book, Warner. Book had a couple, actually, and Nerlich also a couple in that fourth quarter. It's just about all we've got. A shout-out if you're a Brighton fan. Their men's football director, Rob Miles, has stood down for next season. So if you're of a Brighton persuasion, all the best to Rob. And their women's football director, Lou Crow, has also stepped down. So all the best to Lou. And, of course, Brett Backwell's final home game as coach today. And I tell you what, Brighton and Broadview next week, it really is. Winner will probably stay in, will definitely stay in Div 1, and the loser will be in Div 2. Can't wait for that one, Lockie.
Oh, I'm so excited for that game. So excited for all the games we've got before the minor round. Plenty of practice here, a little bit of a hit out for some teams before finals, and an excellent opportunity for some teams for a bit of a send-off.
Indeed, we saw a few mark of the weeks. That was brought to you by Bianco. The top three for the week on Between the Posts, as are the top three goals of the week. Tuesday night, Adelaide Facebook League. Don't think so. Adelaide Footy League Facebook page, hosted by Tom Javor. A big thank you to our stream partners, Archie's, Dartfish, Programs to Fit, Classic Clashes, and Filming Footy. Hope you've enjoyed the day, Lockie.
Oh, this has been absolutely brilliant. Really, really loved this one. I love coming out and calling the Adelaide Footy League. You never know what you're quite going to get.
That's it. Jack Moore signing off from Brighton Oval, where it was a pretty comprehensive performance as Port District lock up third place ahead of their finals run. Well, for Brighton, next week's game against Broadview is essentially do or die. Until next Saturday, have a great week.